Hi there. Welcome to Falling Up Radio today. Today, we're going to dive right into what it means to eat an oil-free, whole food, plant-based diet. I'm so excited for our guest to be here, to take time out of her busy day to be here. I came across her as I was looking at different videos online and YouTubes. I'm always looking at something to help enhance my own lifestyle and whole foods and my plant-based, and where can I get great ideas and how can I get more recipes and how can I learn more, just because I'm so jazzed about it. And then I came across our guest, Jeanne Schumacher, and I went, wow, this person's on fire. She's like 100 times more into it than I am. So I got a hold of her because I wanted everyone here to be able to listen to what she has to say and who she is. So Jeanne Schumacher, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, I'm intrigued. I want to jump right in. I know about 10 years ago, you were about 100 pounds overweight. You showed up at the emergency room. You had some type of infection. Your blood pressure was out of this world, maybe as big as like to Mars or something. I don't know. But it was just like everything was out of control. Can you go back to that time and let the listeners know where you started and what happened?
Well, I think, I had this mindset that I thought I was eating pretty healthy. Okay, occasionally you dive into some processed foods, but I thought, okay, for the most part, I thought I was healthy eating. Yeah, no. But I think sometimes we have to hit that brick wall. Sometimes we just don't realize how important the food is. And it was a journey. I mean, I was never so sick in my life. I had 105.5 fever.
Wow.
That for a week it went up, and then I would have these racking chills. Like they couldn't stop. They had to put something in between my teeth because they really thought I couldn't stop, shivering. And they would pile blankets on me and it wouldn't help. Nothing could help me regulate my body temperature. My blood pressure was about 250 over 150.
Wow.
I mean, ridiculous. I don't know how I survived that. I think he had something up there going, okay, I need her for something, but I need to get her attention. Have I got your attention? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I was never so sick. I mean, really, for a week, they just kept pumping me. They really didn't know what it was. I mean, seriously, and I don't care. But the special part was the woman who came and was my caretaker, the doctor, was not only a medical doctor, but she was a nutritionist, which is so rare in this day and age. You'd think that medical doctors would have a good understanding of what fuels this high performance vehicle. No, they don't. They have almost no training in nutrition.
Well, and maybe you know about this. I heard recently in California, just like the last few weeks or month, that they had been trying to get some nutrition classes into the medical schools in California, and it was soundly voted down by the California Medical Association, I believe that it was.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But I just saw a tweet from Dr. Neil Barnard saying that he was at Congress, that they were trying to pass a law that it was going to be required for medical doctors for continuing education, that they had to focus on nutrition.
Yeah, that would be great.
I hope that passes into law. Go Neil.
Yeah. So let's go back to that moment where you showed up at the emergency room and all these things were going on and you were facing whatever you were facing. Were you on blood pressure meds at the time? Or?
I was on 4 blood pressure medications.
4?
At the time. 4, because my blood pressure was really out of control. And it took 4 medications to try and bring it down. And I was also on thyroid medication, and that was, just in general. And at that time, I was going through a lot of migraines. I continually, not all the time, but I would have them periodically. And I had started those when I began perimenopause, which that's a whole nother story on that journey. Wow. Because, well, anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes. But that going into that emergency room, it was a real eye opener. And when I got out, I mean, first of all, I was extremely weak. And after being in the hospital for an entire week of just this racking chills, high blood pressure, my head, I thought it was going to split open. I'm one of the rare few people that actually gets, when my blood pressure gets high, and it does get high at times, I get headaches. And I thought my head was going to split open during the week. My blood pressure was so high. I was in such pain from my head and everything else. I mean, it was not a good week. And I really was like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. So that was like my big, hi, have I got your attention?
The aha moment.
Yeah, the big aha moment, seriously. Yeah. So I went to see her as a nutritionist after I got out of the hospital, and she started me on Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, the book by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, and that was it. I haven't looked back. And it just made so much sense to me that this is the fuel of a human. And then as you start diving into this, I don't know if you've read the book by Michael Moss.
I haven't.
A powerful book, Fat, Sugar, Salt. He's a research journalist, Pulitzer Prize, guy. And I actually saw him at Plant Stock, which was amazing. He was amazing. But his book, he dives into the food industry, and he talks about like the bliss point and how they purposely are manipulating our food and turbocharging it. That's my husband's term. He calls it turbocharging the food to increase the amount of fat, sugar, and salt that's in our food to make it hyper palatable to us. That you can't, as soon as you eat one, you're like, oh my God, that is so good. I have to have another one, and you can't stop until whatever it is gone.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's that addiction. It's like alcoholism or anything. It's like you take that one and you want 12.
Exactly. And I'll be the first to go, hi, I'm Jeanne Schumacher. I'm a food addict.
Yeah.
Because I am. I totally am. And it's within my family. I'm the only one in my whole family that has broken this and has gotten away. The only ones that are thin in the family are the ones who've married in. Everybody else is,
Yeah. Now, when you started on this nutrition path, was the doctor you were working with, whole food, plant-based, oil-free? How did that journey start and what happened?
No, she looked at me like I had two heads. You're doing what? But since then I have broken her in. This has been 10 years. So starting with me, I'd be bringing my book in and I'd hand it to her and say, here, I want you to read this. We will have a conversation. Don't make me call your mother.
Yeah. This is the reverse heart disease.
Starting off with Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, I started with that book. And then, of course, I got into Dr. McDougall, Dean Ornish, and it never stopped.
The China study.
Yeah, the China study. All of these powerful, powerful books. Forks Over Knives. Forks Over Knives came out not much longer after that, and I'm like, done, sealed the deal. Period. End of statement. So that movie has had such a profound impact on me, and I haven't looked back since. And I don't understand. You can't argue with that logic, and all the research that's in that movie. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand, like people that watch this and go, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I have a close friend of mine, and he just had a step put in last week. And where I live, he has one of the most magnificent gardens in our area where he grows all this incredible food. He grew up as a butcher. And we were talking maybe a month or 6 weeks ago when some of these issues started coming up. And I suggested that he go in the garden and sit there and eat the beans and the carrots and all that stuff. Versus taking the statins and all that. And I said, before you get that stent put in, you're going to go to the doctor and you're not going to need that stent potentially. I says, if you did that for 30 days, you're going to blow your doctor away. Would he do it? No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it.
I have a girlfriend she's 3 days older than I am, which I frequently point out to her.
Yeah.
And if you look at the two of us side by side, yeah,
Yeah.
She's got so many health issues. She's had several strokes already, and it's just on and on and on. And
Yeah.
I see her posting, on Facebook about all these different health issues. And I just want to, why are you not listening? Hello?
Well, I think it comes back to some of that addiction stuff and the what's in our foods and all of that. And, once you start eating this way, the whole food plant-based way, you don't realize how destructive the sad diet really is.
I know.
You know?
And
It,
how good you feel. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I mean, I feel better. I look better than I did 20 years ago.
Well, I've seen the before and after picture of you and your husband, and it's just like, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and just and I went back, Dr. Neil Barnard's got a new book coming out called Your Body in Balance, coming out February of 2020. And I'm one of the case stories that's in his book. And he asked me to go back to my doctor's office and to, check the dates, the blood work that I had, when I was having medications, because we wanted to try and figure out what had happened in my body. So I went to the doctor's office and I called ahead and said, I want to do this. And my doctor's like, okay. Like I'm the first person who's ever done this ever in their office.
Wow.
So she handed me this sedimentary layer of my file. And I'm like, wow. And I sat there and I went through page by page by page. And it really hit me because I wrote down, every time I had gone to see her and what I was going to see her for and how often. And I just was stunned at how sick I was. And I didn't realize it. I really didn't. I mean, how can you not realize it? Because you go through these cycles of, okay, you get sick, but then you get better and you feel fine and life is good and you continue on. And then you don't realize you get sick again and it's something else. And I was going through a period of huge UTIs, at least once a month, I was getting a urinary tract infection. And they're powerful. Oh my God. And you don't play games with those I haven't had one. I can't remember in how long. And yeah, I mean, I went to a urologist, an OBGYN urologist. Her entire practice was people like me that were having UTIs, constant UTIs. That was her entire practice. I said, Doc, what's going on? I don't know. Really? That's all you got for me? Yep. Try this drug.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
And
Well, see, and the thing that I like about you, Jeanne, and I know that you're a scientist of sorts. You teach science in high school and such. And so you have this analytical, scientific type brain, and you look at this stuff. And to me, that, it really increases the validity of what you say and who you are and what you've been through. Because I know that you're looking at that with that scientific approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you can't help but not see cause, effect.
Yeah.
You see yourself I feel better. I mean, the amount of energy that I have, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, my day starts pretty much every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm usually up till 11 or 12 every night, almost every night.
Yeah.
And on the weekends, I'm on the go. Like this weekend, I'm going up to Plant City. Have you heard of this?
I haven't.
Plant City. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. In Providence, Rhode Island, Plant City was started by a amazing woman who decided she connected with Matthew Kenny, who's one of the top vegan chefs, and she created this food hall. She got a kind of a warehouse in Providence, right in the center of the city, and it's a neighborhood that's being gentrified. And she gutted the warehouse and turned it into 6 plant-based restaurants.
Wow.
And so, and not only that, but then you can go in and see, like, you can buy, it's small shopping, she's just got like one little aisle for, vegan products. And then in the basement, she has a community room. And so I'm teaching there. So I teach about whole food plant-based living, and I also teach, I do cooking demonstrations and all kinds of things. Like this week coming up is focusing on learning how to read nutrition labels.
Wow.
Because it's so important. I mean, the chemicals that we're being exposed to is ridiculous.
Well, there's something, and maybe you know this number better than me, that we have something like 286 different chemicals in our body.
On average, because anything, like if you put something on your skin, like hand cream, in 26 seconds, it's in your bloodstream.
Wow.
26 seconds. Most shampoos have neurotoxins.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm putting a chemical that's going to be toxic to my brain on my head.
Yeah.
Really?
I haven't washed my hair in years, quite frankly. It gets wet.
Okay.
And I go to the gal that washes my hair or cuts my hair. And she says, I have the best hair of anybody she knows. It's not oily. It's not greasy. It's really good hair. And when I used to put that stuff on my head, it was icky. And now it's not. Now, I'm not saying everybody should go without washing their hair, but
but you should know what's going into your head. And I, as a matter of fact, one of the projects that I make my students do, or used to, it's a choice now that they can do this. Instead of a midterm exam for winter term, they can choose one of these projects. And one of them is to do a analysis of 3 personal care products. Wow. So they go through and analyze whether it's organic, inorganic or organic chemicals. And they have to look at each one. They use the Environmental Working Group, their website, as a base to look to see what chemicals that they're actually putting in their body and what issues it's causing and what it could cause. So it's a real eye-opening, activity for them to go through. And it really opens their eyes, because I grew up naive thinking, if it's on the shelves along the way, somebody has looked at the chemicals in there and said, this is okay for human consumption. No. There's no regulation, like zero, like none. Okay. No regulation at all. They can put anything they want into these products, and they do. And it just absolutely amazes me. Like, for example, there was one shampoo, a baby shampoo, that used to put formaldehyde in it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And put on little kids. Yeah.
That's the chemical we use to preserve dead animals.
Yeah.
And you're putting this on a baby's brain.
Yeah.
It just amazes me. I mean, things like chemicals, when you start looking at them, like parabens. Do you know what parabens are?
Well, I know the name. I'm not exactly certain what they do. So, educate me and educate the listeners on what that is.
Absolutely, because this is huge. And it's one of the biggest things you want to make sure that is not in your personal care products is parabens. Parabens is a chemical family. So like there's methylparaben, butylparaben, propylparaben. It doesn't matter. They're all bad. Okay. I mean, I broke my wrist. I am now permanently banned from climbing ladders. So the ladder slid out and my arm was around it and it crushed my wrist. I mean, like, ouch. My wrist was like this, and it's like, it's not supposed to be like that. Yeah. But when I went for therapy for my wrist after I had surgery on it, she brings this big tub out and puts it on the table. And I'm like, what's that? And she says to me, oh, it's cream. I'm going to massage your wrist because you've had surgery and it hurts. And, we're going to stretch out the tendons and whatever. Okay. I'm saying, just 1 second, please. So I turned it around. It had not 3 parabens in it. Wow. And so what happens is your body thinks it's not. Your body thinks it's estrogen, but it's not. And it's bioaccumulative, so it's going to stay in your system because there's 2 basic types of chemicals. One is, fat soluble. The other one's water soluble. If it's water soluble, you're going to pee it out. If it's fat soluble, it's going to stay in your fat cells. And your fat cells become these toxic dumping grounds of chemicals. Not just that, but all these other things. Like if you're taking too much zinc, like we've been on this big zinc kick, right?
Yep.
Zinc collects. It's crazy. And it's one of the things that Dr. Neil Barnard did a book called Power Food for the Brain, Oh my gosh. And he talks a lot about the three, zinc, copper, iron, because they're very oxidizing within the system. And so your body tries to protect it if you have too much of it. So, and we're of this mentality that, hey, if it's a little bit is good for us, bring on the dump truck.
Yep.
Beep, beep,
Yep.
beep.
More's got to be better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So parabens, your body thinks it's estrogen. So on a woman, it's going to have some impact on your reproductive system. So it's going to, most commonly though, it's going to react as breast cancer.
Yeah.
I'm coaching several women who are dealing with breast cancer right now, and they've got no training, no nutrition training, no, you need to stay away from these toxins, like dryer sheets, like, oh my gosh, those have volatile VOCs, volatile organic compounds. No, nothing with fragrances. You should not have anything, because that's one of the biggest things that the fragrance industry, or the cosmetics or whatever, they hide a lot of chemicals in that term fragrance, and a lot of them contain things like phthalates. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors. So, I mean, I found a company I've been looking for a long time, and I found a company that the entire company is 100% toxic free.
Wow.
Everything that they make.
So that's like personal care items and soap and
yep, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste. They have cleaning products. They have essential oils. They have makeup. They, they just came out. Oh, I'm so excited about this. They just came out with a skincare line that has pre and probiotic in it. And
wow.
Because our company is like the only company that doesn't use preservatives in the products, it's not going to kill the pre or probiotic. So
Wow.
it's also the right pH. I mean, it provides the perfect environment for this. So it's amazing. So we just came out with this line, and I'm like so excited. So, and I just did a interview with Dr. Frank Sabatino, amazing guy, who he's big thing on his gut biome. So, wow. I mean, the gut biome is so much more important than we ever knew. So we really,
it's kind of been in that fringe area for 30 years, and now it's finally coming out, and what was poo-pooed back then, no pun intended, it is now beginning to be accepted as, wow, there's truth here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so much, I mean, we got 5 pounds of these creatures living inside of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to feed them. And if you're not feeding them right, they'll let you know.
Yeah, they're pissed. Yeah.
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 And when they're happy, they'll let you know too.
Yeah. I want to talk more about that. And I also want to talk a little bit more about when you went plant-based over the last 10 years, I know you've lost something like 100 pounds.
Right.
Have you got off your blood pressure medications?
I've gotten off of almost all of them. In this journey, I call it peeling back layers of an onion.
Yeah.
Because it takes time for you to understand about your body. And one of the things that I never knew and didn't realize was just how salt sensitive I am. I mean, ridiculously so. I am not normal in this sense. Okay, don't get calm. Yes, I know I'm not normal anyway. Got it. Okay, I'll get those comments out right ahead for you. Okay, but I'm not normal in terms of my inability for salt. I mean, it's crazy. So a little bit of salt will throw my blood pressure way off.
Wow.
So I'm almost at the point now where I just cannot eat out. And if I do eat out, it will play havoc with my blood pressure. I remember when we were moving into this house that we are in now, we had gutted the kitchen. I mean, like took it down to the bare bones. And so we were eating out more. And we had gone to a restaurant, and I got, I asked them all my questions. Does it have oil? Is it, animal product? So I went through all the questions, and I forgot to ask about salt. And so it was a cup, 8 ounces of black bean soup and a salad. That's all I had. And I brought my own dressing. So within 10 minutes, of eating it. I didn't even get out to the car in the parking lot. I thought my head was going to split open. I
No
was in
kidding.
such pain. That little cup, I Googled it, it was 56% of the daily nutritional requirement for salt. I would not eat that much in a month, never mind in one cup.
Yeah.
So it was just absolutely, for me, it's really difficult for me to eat out anymore.
Yeah.
So I've got where I live, the next town over, there's a restaurant and the chef has gone, she's vegan to begin with, but since connecting with me, she's gotten rid of the oil, and then she will
Yeah.
also make things salt-free for me.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
So,
You know that's kind of the opposite of where I am, and I sweat a lot. And you know, I do the hot yoga, and I've been doing it for years. And so, for me, the salt, I don't add salt very often, very rarely. If I do, it's the pink Himalayan salt.
mhm.
But you know, it's interesting how you have that type of reaction to that, where I don't. But I mean, again, I sweat a lot, so having a little bit of salt is useful for me.
Right.
Yeah,
But every body, every person is different.
yeah,
Like another person who's on a very similar journey to me, she can't have caffeine.
mm,
Caffeine doesn't affect me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't even realize it.
yeah.
But for her, a whiff of caffeine and she's up for days. And
Wow.
so I think each person, as they start this journey, they start to learn about their body. And for me, I always constantly had headaches. I mean, in addition to migraines, but I constantly lived with a headache. And I had ibuprofen in my purse, in my car, in my bedside, in my desk, at work. I mean, every place that I would go, I had ibuprofen because I constantly I would eat them like M&Ms. I mean, almost. I mean, not quite that bad, but I mean, it just seemed like it. And I can't remember the last time I had an ibuprofen. I can't,
Wow. Yeah.
because I learned that those were blood pressure headaches now.
Wow.
I've learned that. And I've learned that about myself. And I've learned on this journey, you know, that as your body starts to heal, you start to realize, you know, I call it peeling back layers of an onion, you know, you're
Yeah.
starting to see what is actually happening underneath.
Yeah.
And plus we've had to heal. I mean, you know, I've been on this planet for a while, and you know, I've done some abuse to my body. God bless my body. It's tried to
Yeah.
keep up with me, you know,
Yeah.
in spite
Yeah.
of everything I've done to it. But
Yeah.
um, now
Yeah.
finally it's going, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're
Yeah.
giving me
Yeah.
the right fuel.
So what I like and what I heard you say early on is that, you know, you had to get to that certain point before you made a change.
Yeah.
And I know today with your Simply Plant-Based website and the different groups that you have, whether it's the Cape Cod, the Plant-Based Cape Cod group, or the Plant-Based Westchester group, or some of these different things that you're doing, your YouTube channel, and you've got this huge plethora really of videos and experts and recipes and ideas. And I know that you work a lot with that new person in transition. And I asked you about the video earlier, is how to begin a whole food plant-based lifestyle. It's got like over 700,000 views. And I know I looked at that. I've watched it twice now, and I got some great tips, even though I'm a whole food plant-based and have been on that journey for a long time. And I went down to Trader Joe's and got a couple of the products you mentioned in there that I didn't know they had. And so I find that's just it's an incredible resource, you know, for the new person, but as well as even for me, which has some knowledge about this. So can you talk a little bit perhaps about that transition time with that new person and how you help them, and maybe some ideas on how they can get on their journey? You know, if their blood pressure's out of the world and too much salt and perhaps a little bit overweight, maybe addicted to cheese. We talked a little bit about that before. And cheese is a big one. I mean, I like cheese too. I don't eat it, but I like cheese. And to be honest with you, Jeanne, I like steak, but I can't tell you the last time I had one either. right?
Right.
You know, so how does somebody, you know, get to this point to where they're willing to try this whole food plant-based lifestyle, oil-free even, and you know, because it seems so, you know, it's like you might as well be living on Saturn sometimes because there's
Extreme.
no understanding. Yeah, extreme.
Extreme is having to cut your chest open, right?
Yeah,
And pull your ribs apart, pull your heart out, take a vein from your leg and bypass that. That's extreme. But people would rather do that than eat plants.
yeah,
Really? I
yeah.
don't understand that. But okay.
And one of the things that I found too, and even doing this for a while now, that there, you know, there's like pig, cow, chicken, fish, right? There's 4 or 5 different types of basic meats, right? But when you eat a whole food plant-based diet, there's just this huge, endless amount of veggies and fruits that I never even knew existed that I'm still discovering today. And it's like, it's flavorful. People go, oh, wow, it must be expensive. No, it's less expensive.
I
You
know.
know?
And I got tired of people going, so like, what do you eat? Like, you know, tree bark, grass roots, grass, you know? No, I save that for special occasions.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I made a video because I got tired of people asking me, you know, so what do you eat? So I said, just a second. And
Yeah.
I called them Kim Campbell because I did a whole show with her. And she is by far, that is in my humble opinion, the best cookbooks out there is Plant Pure Nation
Mm.
cookbook and Plant Pure Kitchen.
Yeah.
She is amazing. And I can like text her, Kim, I'm in the store. What do you think about this? You know, and I'll get a response like right back from her. You know,
Yeah.
we'll go back and forth talking. Anyway, but Kim is just absolutely incredible. And I forgot what I was going down. I went down a rabbit hole. I do that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
we were talking about the plethora of options to eat. And
oh, so I got her. Oh, that was it. So I called her up and said, because she takes amazing pictures of her food, because she's also a foodie. So I said, can you send me a bunch of your pictures? So she did. So I took like 300 pictures and put them together in a video that's like 2 minutes, you know, like one picture a second. So you see this, and nothing is the same. There is just so much variety and so much incredible flavor. So anyway, so I made that video because I got tired of people just saying, you know, what do you eat? Just salad? Because that's all you can pretty much eat when you go out, because there's no like creativity or you know, in terms of the plant-based. It's common though. I mean,
yeah,
when you go to a place like Plant City and you just walk in and go, oh wow, you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just, the food is just amazing. It's
yeah,
just incredible.
yeah,
But I made a series because I felt bad for a lot of the people who are just starting out. I mean, part of it, you have to know your why. You have to know, why am I doing this? So I created a 3-part series. What is whole food plant-based? How to begin, and tips and tricks. And you can find, they're free on my website, simplyplantbased.net. And you can go on there under videos, and it's right at the top going, start here, right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
So, and then you can just work your way down through the videos. There's tons of videos that either I've made or I thought were really good. I mean, everything that's on my website, either I've made or I've vetted, and it meets my approval.
yeah,
So, and I've made cooking videos because I got tired of people like, well, how do I make this?
yeah,
Okay. And I'm not like, I don't do like the, hi, today we're going to learn. No, give it to me in a minute and a half.
yeah,
Done.
yeah.
So I teach you how to
Well,
do.
and I know you got these other videos. Is it Chef AJ?
Yep, I did some with Chef AJ. She was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
So she had a whole series. She did in her book. She talked about the yeah buts. You know, I
mm,
can't do this. Yeah, but I can't. It's too expensive. Yeah, but no one's going to support me. Yeah, but it's, you know, I can't give up whatever. So we talked about those. That was a lot of fun. She's
yeah,
amazing. She really
yeah,
is.
yeah. What else do you have on your website? I mean, I've looked at it, and it's like, you know, I know there's a series on there by Dr. Neil Bernard, and I know that you're
Right.
doing another series with him with his new book, the beginning of the year.
Coming up.
And you know, you just got this huge, it's like part of the deepest, I think, plant-based info that I've seen out there.
Well, I think for me, I started creating these programs because, to begin with, I mean, it's key. You have to keep educating yourself. That's what's key, because it's not just the food, because part of it is your head. You have to deal with food addiction. You have to deal with emotional eating. You have to deal with, with your family's not plant-based, and Thanksgiving's coming up, and, or holidays. And you start to realize, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this when I go to the family and deal with that? So I, created these support groups. So I have a continuing education program for people that are already plant-based. But then I started looking at, weight loss is a huge one. I mean, if you look around and looked at, I don't know if you've seen these maps in the United States of obesity and, over the time. Wow. I created a master class for the weight loss advantage, and in there is got the maps showing. Each year they had to come up with new colors because they kept running out of
No
colors,
kidding.
to
I don't
show.
think I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, it's powerful. When you
Yeah.
see just the transition from like 1995 to today, that how obese we have grown as a nation,
Wow.
it's incredible. I mean, you just look around you and you just see incredible amounts of obese people. And
Mhm.
so I said, these people need help, because not only are they obese, but it's the metabolic syndrome. So you're starting down the road. If you start with obesity, it's a matter of time before you have type 2 diabetes, you have issues with your kidneys, you have heart disease, and on and on. They're just all together. So I created this program. It's called the Weight Loss Advantage, to help people. And it's not just about losing weight. It's about transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle. And I show tips and tricks because I am, if nothing else, a huge educator. That's my background. That's my training. My doctorate is in not only science, but it's curriculum and instruction and how to educate people. So I put everything that I have had and learned in my 35 years of teaching in a classroom, I've put it into a program. So to help someone to transition through this lifestyle, because you need support. You're going to have a lot of questions. Do I need supplements? What about the toxins? Oh my God, you're going to release a phenomenal amount of toxins as you start this journey. That 57 Chevy license plate that you consumed once upon a time, that's coming out, baby,
Yeah.
because that's been stored in your fat cells for a long time. And as those toxins come out, you need to understand it's part of the healing process, but you're also going to feel like crap.
Yeah.
So, you've got to know and understand and embrace this, because I've had people say to me, I felt better when I was eating the SAD diet.
Yeah.
But because but as your body gets rid of these toxins, and once you do, it's like your body, you just feel so amazing.
Yeah.
So I've created this program. So, not only do you have the educational pieces that's going to answer every question, because I guide you through literally step by step. It's got videos that I've made, cooking videos that are not available anyplace else. But also I've created a group support system. We do coaching calls, once a week. And it helps you to know that, so there's a group out there that you can connect with, because you feel alone in many times, many places, when you're converting to this, because you're not going to know a lot of people doing it. So, and a lot of times you're not going to have the support from friends and family. So I'm providing that support. So I've got the Weight Loss Advantage, continuing education for those people who are already plant-based but need a little bit more support and guidance. And then starting with Dr. Deborah Shapiro, we're hoping to launch January of 2020, called the Pregnancy Advantage, because a lot of women are delaying having children, number one, or finding it difficult to get pregnant. And a lot of it has to do with obesity. A lot of it has to do with the chemicals they're being exposed to, and the SAD diet. So we're going to help transition them and get their bodies pregnant ready. So if you're thinking about getting pregnant ready, and I'm just throwing this out there, if anybody's thinking about this and would like to test drive our program for free, we'd love to have you connect with me. You can find me at simplyplantbased.net. Love to connect with some people, because we want to start laying our foundation. So we're building the program, and it's a combination of being plant-based, but also Dr. Deborah Shapiro, she's OBGYN. So she's going to help guide you through the questions that you need to get answered.
Yeah. And so are you finding that when a woman transitions to the whole food plant-based diet,
Uh-huh.
that their ability to get pregnant increases?
It's funny that you say that because I was just watching a movie. Have you seen, it's called Secret Ingredients by
I
Jeffrey
haven't.
Smith?
I haven't.
If to any of your listeners out there, can't say enough about this movie. It's called Secret Ingredients by Jeffrey Smith. He is amazing. And this movie focuses around this one main family. And she was like a runner, her husband as well, and they had 3 kids. And between the 5 of them, they had over 21 major health issues, including autism for her 4-year-old at the time when the movie began, when they started filming. And so she, started this journey. And within 4 years, it took the movie 4 years to be made. And by the time the movie was done, because the family went GMO free and organic, everybody cleared up 21 major health issues, including the autistic child.
Wow.
Who is now in a normal, regular classroom, read, write, speak, interact, sports, everything normal.
Wow.
No diagnosis.
Is that on like Netflix or somewhere? Where
I
do
don't think it's on Netflix, but you can go to the website and stream it. It's or to the DVD. So it's Secret Ingredients, the movie, or secretingredientsmovie.com.
Uh-huh.
A powerful movie that talks about these. And I forget what the original question was because I go off on tangents.
We were talking about whole food plant-based diet for pregnancy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Glad somebody's paying attention. So in the movie, they talk about this woman who started a clinic, and she basically had the people go, GMO free and organic, and cleanse them out. She's, and helped to align. This was another thing that I thought was fascinating, was she's a chiropractor, and she helped to align the body itself. So between the alignment and getting that straight down, that, central nervous system going down to the pelvis, if that's not lined up, honey, we might have, Houston, we're going to have some problems here.
Yeah.
So she helped that, but then got the people to go GMO and organic, and every one of her people got pregnant.
Wow.
Everyone. I think she was up to, I want to say 70, but don't quote me. But it was quite a high number of people successful. Everybody got pregnant. So, this just dovetails in. I'm following with Brenda Davis. I mean, the same thing. She talks about, being plant-based for people going pregnant. And it just makes so much sense. I mean, if you can start the mother and clean out her system, because I remember in one of the conversations I had with Dr. Neil Barnard, he said 1/3 of the toxins that you have will come out in the breast milk that you're feeding your baby.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You're dumping your toxic load on your brand new, spanking new baby, because the breast milk is very high in fat.
Yeah.
So you're fat. So you're transitioning all your toxins to the baby. So if you can clean the body out, and I see this direct impact, I kid you not, in the classroom, without question. There's so many kids from the time, just think about this. I was born in 1960. So I never saw an autistic child, not one. In my entire town, not one. And that's not something you can hide. I mean, I knew every kid in the neighborhood growing up. I mean, everywhere around us, never had an autistic child. Never.
I don't think we did either. Now that you mention that, I never thought about it. Yeah.
Now it's 1 out of 68.
Wow.
That's from CDC. 1 out of 68 children is now autistic. Who is going to pay for that? So on one end of the spectrum, we've got kids who are autistic. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got, my parents' generation are dealing with autism and dementia.
Yeah.
my mother-in-law just passed not too long ago. And when she went in at 72, okay, at 72, she had such severe dementia or Alzheimer's, she could not be left on her own because she was just getting up doing ridiculous things. Like she'd wake up in the middle of the night and like be sleeping next to the man that she'd been married to for over 50 years. Like, who are you? And like freak out and like run out of the house. So, he couldn't take care of her because he couldn't even keep up. She was like a jackrabbit. She could still move. And so we put her into, she had to go into a nursing home because no one could take care of her full time. And it was $4,000 a month. And we had to prove that we could pay between 5 and 8 years because that's the average lifespan for somebody going into a nursing home with Alzheimer's. And she lasted 7 years. And by the time she passed, it was up to $9,000 a month. Who is putting aside this kind of money?
Yeah.
I mean, so at one end of the spectrum, we've got people who can't remember who they are and can't function. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got kids who can't function in society normally. Yeah. And I see this on and on within the classrooms. I don't teach the way I did 35 years ago. They can't handle it. And I've seen such tremendous changes in the children. And I keep looking around like, what is causing this? It's the food, our environment.
The food. Yeah.
It's the environment. And then add on top of that, the GMOs. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I did an interview. I was very fortunate to do an interview with Jeffrey Smith. And some of the stuff that he shared with me in that interview, my hair stood on the back of my hair, on the back of my neck stood up, as he's talking about this. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we could really dive into the difference between the science of what's going on and the marketing of these products. I mean, that's a whole nother show right there.
Right.
Because there's a difference, and most of us are influenced by the marketing. And then like when we get exposed to the sciences, I get more and more exposed to the science even after several decades of this. As I get more exposed to the science, I keep finding out more and more and more. And it's just like, wow, look how powerful that marketing is. Look at those products that they're giving us and putting it on the shelf. And all I need to do is to go from that aisle to the produce section, and it's going to change my life. It's going to take care of my heart. All these different things. And I know that you've talked a lot with Dr. Osfeld, and, he's a cardiologist, and you've had lots of conversations and great videos about that. And
he started a great program at the Montefiore Clinic in New York, and kudos to him, because single-handedly he has done this. I mean, with almost no budget and with no help. I mean, almost none. And he's got he now has in all 5 of the Montefiore hospitals plant-based options that people can get in the hospital. He has playing on the television set 24/7 in an endless loop, Forks Over Knives.
No kidding.
Yep. So he can walk into a patient's room that he's seeing for heart disease and say, okay, I want you to order this on the menu, and I want you to turn to channel whatever, and I want you to watch that movie several times, okay? And it's amazing. And so he does these programs very much. He modeled his whole program after Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn from the Cleveland Clinic. He went up to his program and modeled it after him. And then, so he does these wellness programs on Saturdays. It's his own time that he does this, and he provides food for everybody so that it's an all-day affair. So they get fed lunch, and it's free. And so he does it on, out of donations. So he's just amazing. I cannot say enough. He has an annual conference that's usually, we just had it, another amazing, this is the 3rd year he's done it. Amazing conference. So if you're around this area, it's not only open, you get medical credit for attending the conference too, but it's open to everybody. And it's it's an amazing conference. I can't say enough. But he's just so genuine and heartfelt. And, Dr. Michelle McMacken at Bellevue, have you heard of Eric Adams and what he's doing with her?
I haven't, no.
They've started, Eric Adams, fascinating story. He's the Brooklyn Borough president, and he had such severe diabetes, going blind, such bad neuropathy. I mean, his esophagus, he was burning holes in it. I mean, he reversed it. If you look at him today, he looks like $1 million. I mean, he looks like a rock star. And he's done such amazing things in the Brooklyn borough. He's, you know, gotten plant-based options in the schools, Meatless Mondays. He started at Bellevue with Dr. Michelle McMacken, a whole program that people can go to that it's covered through insurance.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
things are starting to happen, and I'm so excited, you know, for what's going on. I know you're on the West Coast, but down over, you know, on this side, you know.
Oh, there's a lot happening out here too. I mean, even the town that I live in, probably 3 years ago, there was not any plant-based or vegan type restaurants in town. Now there's a half a dozen of them.
Well,
you know, just in
California
the
is
last
much more progressive anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm in Oregon.
Oh, that's right. Well,
yeah,
West Coast. West Coast.
Yeah. So there's so much more that I want to talk about, and we may have to do more of these, but time is coming to an end for today. But if you were to give 3 ideas for maybe that person in transition, I know you've got your 3 videos on your website, and I love that, how to begin a whole food plant-based lifestyle. I love that video. It's so good. I learned a lot from it. But what are 3 maybe real simple, easy ideas about somebody that's thinking about doing this, that maybe not totally ready for the transition, but they're ready to do something? What would you suggest?
The biggest thing that I would suggest is to, you know, because if you think about it, plant-based or not, whatever diet that you're on, whatever you normally eat, you've got like 10, 12 recipes that you cycle through. You know, that you have, oh, it's meatloaf again, you know, so you have meatloaf again. Whatever the recipes are, there's an alternative that we've come up with that is very similar to that. So find some recipes that are similar to things that you eat. Like, for example, I love mac and cheese. I used to, you know. So now I have mac and not cheese.
Yep.
So, you know, and I could dive into that, and it tastes, it's just, I mean, oh my God, the first time I had that, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I had like 4 bowls. I'm not going to lie. No shame.
No, me too. I did the same thing when I started with,
So I have no shame.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just got to find things that you like. Like, I adore French fries. Love French fries. Well, I can't have it because the oil will also raise my blood pressure, and the salt. So I have an air fryer, and I can make absolutely amazing French fries. Absolutely incredible. Or I can make potato waffles. Ooh, it's one of my signature dishes. So that video is also on my website under.
I saw that video, and yeah, I'm gonna try that one. Yeah.
And that's with the Trader Joe's potatoes, the shredded potatoes. They're amazing.
Yeah.
So I think just the biggest thing is to, you know, really look at, you have to know your why, you know, if you're ready for this and you want to do this, because it's not something that you can dabble in. You know, you really need to transition quickly, because it's like, I use this analogy. I got a pretty good punch. Okay. So if I come up and punch you every day in the arm, pretty soon your arm is going to get swollen. It's going to get black and blue. It's going to get enormous, you know, just swollen and inflammation. And you're going to go to the doctor, doctor, my arm, it hurts so bad. And the doctor's going to go, oh my God, he's going to give you inflammation and pain pills. But if I just stop punching you, you'll be fine. Okay. So I stop punching you. But every time you deviate and you go back to the sad diet, that's like me coming up and punching you again, because your body has to react to all the inflammation, and it takes several days. Like, even for me, like if I eat out, like I said, I'm very sensitive to salt. It takes about 3 days for the salt to clear out of my body, the water and all the fluids and everything else. So I feel it, you know. So it's, you know, better to try and do that, but just take it one day at a time, you know, one meal at a time, because you have the choice of what goes in here. You totally control that. So that's what I say, is to find recipes that you like and just make those. I mean, I love beans and rice. I could eat them every day. you know, just find things you like and just focus on shifting more towards those recipes. And you're going to find that your taste buds are going to change. I mean, if you'd ever said to me I'd voluntarily give up bacon, I would have said you're on drugs.
Yeah,
Because
I hear you.
my son and I used to have knockdown dragouts. I mean, literally over bacon. We'd fight over it, the last piece at the dinner. Now I cannot even stand to smell it. I
Yeah,
can't stand to be around it. I can't stand to smell meat cooking. It's
yeah,
disgusting to me.
yeah,
Not because of any, you know, vegan thing. It's just, it's pretty gross to me
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
So,
When you think about it, so.
oh yeah.
Well, I want to tell you, Jeanne, I learned a lot today just having this easy conversation with you. And there's so many rabbit holes again that we could have gone down with this.
I do it all the time.
I know, and it's just like I want to explore it all too. And it's just like, and knowing your story that 10 years ago, where you were 100 pounds overweight, showing up at the hospital, 105-degree temperature, unknown infection, high blood pressure, and where you've gone now, and you've taken really that huge challenge that you had in your life and turned it into something to where you are now helping other people. And again, you have one of the best websites I know, the Simply Plant-Based .net, right? .net. One of the best sites I know. Just list and list and list of all this information about plant-based diets and cardiology and pregnancy and weight loss and all the different recipes and the videos and, you know, how to begin a whole food plant-based lifestyle. That listing in your 3 different videos that you have right there, your YouTube page and your different groups, the plant-based Cape Cod and the plant-based Westchester group that you have. And everything that you're doing is just like, I love everything about you and everything that you're doing and how you're out there helping people, even your school kids, giving them some little mini challenges to help them to begin to understand, you know, how these things are affecting them. So you really are, you got hit, not in a bad way 10 years ago. You got hit in a way that too, with your scientific mind, you are helping people. So
well, my students know not to come in with stuff in front of me because I will stop the class and we will have a conversation.
So let's talk again, your website, simplyplantbased.net. And also, if you're listening to this, be sure to share this with your friends. Post it on your social media. Tell your friends and your family, anybody that will listen. Not everybody will listen, but, you know, send it to anybody that will listen. And if you're really ready to go plant-based, go to Jeanne's website, again, simplyplantbased.net. We've said that about 3,000 times right now. Or you can also go to fallingupradio.com, go to Jeanne's episode, and we'll have her resources there too, and the different links to be able to access her information as well. So especially, again, if you have diabetes, if you have heart disease, if you're struggling with your weight, you know, the 14 out of the top 15 diseases now today are lifestyle related, what we're eating, you know, so there's so many different options here. And the thing that we didn't talk about, and I got to be careful about going down this rabbit hole, is the Game Changer movie, because that's such a powerful movie. And I saw it on the opening night, and it's just like, wow. I mean, that just seals the deal. And I know other people saw it that just went, that's it, no more. This is what I'm doing. Or, you know, I've had several women friends that have said, okay, my boyfriend is doing this now. Which I won't talk too much about that right now. You got to see that movie.
Oh my God, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
So again, thank you very much, Jeanne, for being here. And again, I'm super excited for what you do, and I'm totally blessed to have had this conversation with you. And
well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So hold on to the other side, and again, to all the listeners, please share this with your friends. Watch it on YouTube. Listen to it on Apple, wherever your favorite platform is. And we'll see you at another time. Thanks.